Okay, in this video we're going to look at some string crossing exercises. So these are a combination of chord sequences, phrases, riffs, general musical ideas which will all sound nice and you can incorporate into your own playing, use as the launch pad for your own ideas. But the string crossing exercises, they employ this technique which basically means we play the strings in different orders, and often we cross strings, we jump over strings and play the strings in not just going from E, A, D, G, B, E all the way up, or E, B, G all the way back down, up in pitch, down in pitch. Enjoy. Let's start with a D major chord, and all we're going to do is we're going to pick the root note of the chord, so in this case the D string. Then we're going to strum it, down strum. Then we're going to pick the next string from the root note, or the root string. So in this case that becomes the G. We're going to pick it, strum again, and you guessed it, one more time we're going to go up to the B, pick it, strum it. Now we're going to go back down to the G, pick, strum, and now we're back at the D, pick, strum. So the idea is we're going to go D, G, B, G, D, and just start nice and slow like this. When you're comfortable with that, we can add some other chords. So why don't we add something like D major, A minor, C, and G. And in each case we're going to move to the root note of the chord for our first pick. So A string, C, A string, G, E string. And let's just see how that sounds. Very nice. Maybe let's just play that together for a minute, just to give you some kind of sense of timing and an aim to smooth playing. Of course, if this is challenging for you and new and it's not coming immediately, you should use a metronome, that's useful. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could also try doubling up the strum, so like a down and up. Let's try doubling it. So. In some ways, this next exercise might actually be even easier than the previous one, but it's using bar chords instead of open chords, and I know for some people bar chords can be one of those early challenges you encounter. So, A major to a C sharp minor, then we're going to move to a D major, back to a C sharp minor. Now let's focus on the picking itself. To start with, we're just going to do all down picks through the E string, A string, D string and G string. And then we're going to finish with an up pick on the root. So. Then we're going to do the same for the C sharp minor, except for now we're going A through B on the strings. So again, down picks and an up. Then we move to the D major, and now we're going to start on the top end. So we're on the B and we're doing a down, G, D, A, and then finish on the B. Now same pattern that we just did, D on the C sharp minor, starting on the B string. So I'll just play that slowly. Joining. This is just, again, really dialing us in to be picking a particular string. Okay, now we're really going to get into some string crossing. So let's try this. I'd like us for chords to use F sharp minor 7. So it's like an F sharp minor but with the little finger removed. And an E dominant 7, which is like an E major bar chord but again with the middle removed. So in terms of frets here, for the F sharp we're on 9, 11, 9, 10, 9, and for the E7 we would be 7, 9, 7, 9, 7. However, if these chords are a bit challenging, string crossing can be pretty unforgiving because we're going to hear every note individually. So if these are challenging, first try making it just a normal F sharp minor and a normal E major. But if that's still challenging, let's move it down a tone. So you could also move it to be an E minor 7 and a D 7 or D major. And of course you could keep moving it down. The reason we want to move it down, again in pitch, is because the frets are bigger here, which can sometimes mean it's like can be a bit easier to make sure your fingers are fitting in place. Of course, for some people, it's probably like maybe it's a bit easier to do it here and here than here and here because the frets are a little bit close. But for a lot of people, it'll probably be easier to do it here and here than say here and here or here and here, because as the frets get further apart, it might require more strain from the hand. So just some ideas to consider if this is a bit challenging. So the string crossing itself is going to be, we're focusing now on a down pick on the A down pick on the B, and then up pick as we come back through. Same pattern for the next chord. Just 4 on each, and this is where we can really start to think about developing some tempo. So if that's easy, let's change it a little bit to be still. Maybe let's actually change it to be an up pick on the A, then a down pick on the B, then an up pick on the D, then a down pick on the G. So different string order. A, up, B, down, D, up, G, down. Let's also discuss something that I just did in there a little bit sneakily. A lot of the time I have my little finger down here as a kind of support and anchor, and this is something that comes from a lot of finger picking, where it can be useful to have the little finger here just as an anchor. It kind of means that your fingers are kind of in the same place, and so it helps develop muscle memory. But at the same time, you don't want to become completely dependent on that. So it is also important to practice this with the little finger off and kind of having a completely free flowing hand. I would say do what comes naturally to you at first, but both are options. I find this can be very helpful when you're getting started and you really need to orient exactly where you're picking. But when you're comfortable, what happens if you lift off the little finger? And just be aware of both. I really don't believe in the idea that there's one way that is absolutely the best and is the way that it should always be done. You know, depending on the situation, you're going to want to employ different skills and also have different support structures to support your playing. So yeah, just a little consideration about that. Let's move on to the next exercise. Okay, we're back to open chords now. We're going to start on a C, root pick and a strum. Then we're going to jump to the C that's already on the first fret of the B string here, and we're just going to descend through the C major scale. So that's C, open B, 2 on the G, which is A, open G, to F, 3rd fret on the D string, E, 2nd fret on the D string, and open D. C, B, A, G, F, E, D. So it's not exactly string crossing because we're kind of moving through the strings in order, but it's still an important part of it. When you've got that and you've got it looping comfortably, let's also incorporate a G. So the G is going to look like this. And then we've moved back to the C. So the notes I'm doing there, root, strum, then open G to A, 2nd fret on the G, back to the open G, then again we're descending through that 3, 2, 1 on the D, and then we do a little hammer on from open D, 2nd fret D, and back off, and then we can move to the C. So let's just try a couple of those together. We'll start with a D major bar chord shape, except we're not going to play the A string, so I'm going to play it like this. From the D, it's 7, 7, 7, 5. Here's what it sounds like. That's 1. Hopefully you can see straight away there's a bit more string crossing going on. Let's talk about the specifics in terms of what string's been played when, and also whether it's a down pick or an up pick. D down, G down, E down, G up, B down, D up, G down. So it's especially as we come through the pattern descending that we get this nice string crossing. What's also nice, if we want to extend this, we can move from a D major shape to what is actually the top end of a B minor. So again, B minor, but not playing the A, move it up here. These two chords sound quite nice. So just moving between the two and getting it smooth is quite a challenge. Again, as with all these exercises, think about how you can keep it challenging. So when you practice it and you get used to it, change the chord sequence for a start, change which strings the chords are being played on, and then of course change the string order. There's so many variations you can come up with, but this is a really good starting point for your string crossing. So like and subscribe, let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future, and see you next time.